What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. And this time, we are back. Today, I am joined by, who else? Mr. Bubba. Bubba, how the hell are you? Guys, real quick, before Bubba tells me how he is, we haven't talked to each other in, like, months. It's not just the podcast. Yeah. So, Bubba, how are you?
It's been good. Yeah, we haven't talked since, I feel like October.
Something like that.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss you.
And so, yeah, we've had the holidays. Holidays were good. I'm out in Utah, so I'm Johnny's over on the East Coast, and I'm out in Utah. So we usually have a ton of snow this time of year, and we haven't had any. Like, we had, like, a slight snow, end of November, but then nothing. And in fact, it was, I think it was, in the 60s during Christmas, which was, depressing.
That is
Utah,
depressing.
We usually have the white Christmas. It's freezing. You got the blizzard, the mountains. So other than that, it was good.
Well, that's good.
The lack of snow is a little bummer. What about you? How was your holiday?
Yeah, we've gotten a ton of snow, actually, believe it or not. So can't relate there. It's freezing, and it's snowy, and it's icy, and it feels like winter, which I don't mind winter. I like winter, so I'm enjoying it. But I've just been kind of, a lot of family stuff with the holidays, lots of traveling back and forth to see Summer and my girlfriend. Busy. But this last week, I've just been today, I probably put in 8 hours into Bloodborne.
Oh, really?
I just beat it. It took me forever to beat the last two bosses. I don't know if you've ever played it, but it was brutal. It was brutal.
No, I haven't. No, I can't play games like that. They make me freaking rage quit. It's like that. That's the style of game that it's just I can't get behind. I'll do Elden Ring with the co-op mod and stuff like that. But without the co-op mod, I did play a little bit of Elden Ring. I got halfway through, so I got pretty far. But I kind of hated every single time I logged into that game. I'm gonna hate this. I always did.
It is so. My buddy is a die-hard Souls fan and FromSoft fan, and I never played him, but he says it's his favorite games of all time. And I've been spreading out, right? I played Diablo this year. I played Fire Emblem, which is totally turn-based. So I was all right, let me try something else new. And I tried Bloodborne, and as someone who comes from Assassin's Creed, it is Assassin's Creed to me, I look forward to every time because it's extremely relaxing. It's so fun and pretty and relaxing and easy. Bloodborne's not relaxing whatsoever. It's entirely stressful. And this last boss apparently is notoriously fairly difficult for even Souls players. So that was a nightmare. It took me literally probably 5 hours to beat this one boss, and then I had to beat another boss for 2. So
yeah, dude, I can't do that crap.
It was a grind.
Cannot do that
well, what you can do, because I've been hearing a lot of this KCD2 stuff. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I am absolutely obsessed. I am a big sucker for open world RPGs. Like Assassin's Creed, of course.
Yeah.
But specifically Skyrim, where it's first person, you can do whatever you want, you can be whoever you want to be. In KCD2, you don't. And KCD2, for those that don't know, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was nominated for Game of the Year. Of course, nothing won anything except for
Expedition.
What's that game? Expedition 33.
Yeah.
So it didn't win anything.
Yeah.
It should have, but I digress.
Rip Death Stranding.
But yeah, really beautiful open world RPG. Takes place in 1400s Bohemia, which is Central Europe. So what today is the Czech Republic.
Oh, wow.
And so all the lords and the kingdoms that are happening at that time, it's all historically accurate. It's really, really cool. So of course it's one of those you're a fictional character in a real world, but it's kind of like Assassin's Creed. It's a historical based game. So all of the other characters in the game are historically accurate.
Oh.
And it's eerie how if you look at side by side shots of the buildings that still exist today and what they made in the game, it is frame for frame the exact same. And it's of course it's a recreation because it's not all of it's perfect. But it reminds me of what Ubisoft, they still do it to an extent. Ubisoft kind of does certain buildings. So in feudal Japan, right, there's not a lot left. So there's a few buildings that they can recreate that we do have either documentation of or the building exists in some form today. But they used to go crazy with this. They went to Constantinople for, I think, months, Constantinople for Revelations. They went to, of course, Venice and Florence and stuff for AC2. And they did a ton of research to make sure it was like as accurate as possible, the map, right?
Really?
And it's palpable. Like to this day, if you go to Florence, like what's that guy's name on TikTok?
Yeah,
The
Memento.
guy who lives in Florence.
Yeah. Memento Gallery, yeah.
Memento, yeah, Memento. So we follow a guy on TikTok, Memento Gallery. Some of you might know him. He lives in Florence. He's Italian, and he's a huge AC creator. I haven't seen his stuff for a long time, but he lives in Florence, and it's like he'll do like walkthroughs of Florence, and it's like, wow, that is exactly the same. So it's really cool. Anyways, but yeah, I'm obsessed with KCD2. Very fun game.
And you've been like,
I've like played nothing else. In fact, for this episode, Johnny was like, "Okay, dude, you have to play the DLC for Mirage. Like, I want to talk about it." I'm like, "I know, I'm sorry. Like, I would have played it had it not been for KCD2. So I've played it, and that's what we're talking about.
That is what we're talking about today. So actually, you know what? That is exciting though. That's the best sales pitch I've heard on KCD because I've heard it's like a really RPG-y, like RPG, and that's not usually my thing. Like you have to feed yourself every like 10 minutes so you don't die of hunger, like that kind of stuff.
No, it's not quite like that.
But still, that sounds really, I actually knew none of that, so that sounds interesting. I'll have to put it on my list because I've been expanding. So now that I finished Bloodborne, I'm about to hop into this game called, I saw it on Steam sale, I know nothing about it, and these tend to be really good experiences when I do this. It's called Tainted Grail. Have you heard of it?
No.
So it's apparently based off a board game like Dungeons and Dragons. It's the first video game in the series, but it's like a deep, rich lore board game, but it looks like Skyrim. Like it's first person. It came out last year. I've never heard of it, but it looks amazing. So I'm really excited to try it. So that's next. I'll let you know how that is. But yes, guys, we realized here in the new year that we haven't actually discussed Valley of Memory on here yet because I was waiting for Bubba to play it. And so I forced him to play it. And because when I played it in November, I was pretty pumped. Just to go back to Mirage at all, I was excited about. And then the DLC for me, like totally blew away my expectations. Now, Bubba sent me one text that we might have some differing opinions. So I will go first. I'm going to rate it. I give it like, for what it is, I got to give it like a 8.7 out of 10. That's what I'm giving it. Bubba, go ahead. I want to hear your rating, and then we can discuss why.
I think I give it like a solid 7.5.
7.5.
Like, mine's not crazy low. But yeah, we'll get into specifics. But no, I did enjoy it. I thought yeah, I don't want to get too deep into my thoughts.
Well,
yes,
how should we? I think 7.5. I want to let me just say, I think, like narratively speaking, and story-wise, and writing, and characterization, and voice acting, and presentation-wise, like with the cutscenes, I think this is the best piece of Assassin's Creed media in that form since Origins. I think this is the best writing, the best story, the most focused, like emotional, well-written, like clearly linear story we've had in a decade. So that's why I was mostly impressed. But do you disagree with that?
Well, yeah. So before we get too into it, on a high level, you got our ranking. This is a free DLC.
Yes.
So go download it. Go play it. Like if you liked Mirage even somewhat, you'll enjoy this DLC. It's a new map. I think there are some new tools that they added, or maybe that was just with a different update. When I logged in, there was a bunch of new stuff.
You have new tool upgrades, yes.
Okay. And I didn't really mess with that. The nice thing is that so the story takes place before the ending of the game, and so I believe if you have finished the game, you cannot play the DLC with that save. I tried to and I couldn't figure it out, so I had to like back out to main menu and then start a new game. And when you do that, you can just select the DLC. So kind of like The Witcher 3, if you've played The Witcher 3, you can opt to just have like the starter Basim be like up to par for what he needs to be for that DLC, and then just play the DLC. So that's what I did. It was really nice, very easy to play, short story. I think 3 to 4 hours.
Yep. Just about.
I didn't do any side stuff. They do have side missions and stuff,
Yep.
and like
And you got a whole new map.
other areas you can help people
Whole
out.
new map. Just
Yep, whole new map.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not tiny. The city is a decent size, like the new little town, but then most of the rest of it's wilderness.
it's like desert, which
the
is
wilderness
cool.
is very cool.
Which is very different.
I feel like there's more wilderness in this DLC than there was wilderness in the Mirage map
100%.
in Baghdad.
100%, which I thought was like a cool. I mean, there was some wilderness around Baghdad, but I'd say like 90% of the game took place in the city, and that was cool. That was like
Which is what
Right.
which was the point.
that brought back the
but
OG
yeah, this
vibes.
was interesting.
But no, yeah, the desert area was really cool. They had a lot of like real life landmarks. And then, so just to back up again, I don't know if this was confirmed or not. This was rumored. I think it's pretty much true. I've seen a lot of people talk about it. Pretty sure this was paid for entirely by the Saudi government, right? Like funded by Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And it takes place in Saudi Arabia. And I think it kind of succeeded in like, here's a brand new side of the world that Basim's going to be in, and they gave him a good reason to be there, kind of, in that he was searching for his father, which I thought was, it felt a little repetitive at the time because Claws of Awaji just dropped, and she's looking for her mother. So it was a little bit like, okay, we're doing this again. But it is two totally different teams, totally different games. It was more coincidentally that this came out. But after 2 years of like I play Mirage a lot, just like doing clips and doing stealth clips and things like that for TikTok. And I think it's a really fun game. I love going back to it. But having a real reason to like a whole new map 2 years later was crazy. I've never really, especially, I mean, it's never happened in Assassin's Creed, but I can't even think of a time in gaming where a game has been left dormant for 2 entire years, 2 years and 1 month, and then it gets like a pretty significant, huge update for free. So this was a really cool experience, I think, overall.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I guess before I continue on, spoilers.
Yes,
this DLC,
thank
of
you.
course.
Sorry.
Go play it. It's free. It's fun. It's worth your time. It definitely is, especially if you like Assassin's Creed or Mirage. Definitely fun. But yeah, we will be diving into spoilers here. So I guess before I get too deep into things, what you mentioned that it was paid for by the Saudi government. I think that's so interesting. Of course, there's like a million conspiracies online of like why they would do that, but just kind of high level, like, why did they do this? Like,
Well,
was it to like boost tourism to Saudi? Like, what's the goal to pay Ubisoft to do this?
I think, yes, I think to boost tourism to Saudi. It's interesting because so as you know, I'm very into like fighting games, right? Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, that kind of thing. So there's this game that came out this year. It's called Fatal Fury. And it's a continuation of this old 90s game. And they dropped it. And there hasn't been, like, it wasn't too successful, but they've been getting these tournaments that have like $1.5 million prize pools, completely unheard of for even like the biggest fighting games. And it is paid for 100% by the Saudi government. I think they are trying to get into video games and capture this whole new space and really like promote the things that they're invested in. And so I think they saw Assassin's Creed as a great opportunity to like, this is our culture. Because when I went to Italy last year, guess what? I went to Rome, I went to Florence, and I said, I know both of these cities like the back of my hand. I want to go to France, right? I want to go to England and see like London, Lynn Syndicate. I would like, it is low-key like marketing for these places. Like it makes me interested in these places more than anything. Baghdad, I'm fascinated by now, which I never would be, admittedly, if it wasn't for Mirage. So I think they kind of knew this. I think this is actually a pretty smart idea. Like, I'd never heard of Alola in my entire life, but it looks beautiful. It has some pretty cool history from what I can tell. And they still have the things kind of like they did in Shadows, where it's like you just aim at the circle there, the little glowing, and they tell you the real history behind this place you're looking at, this thing you're looking at. So I think that is why they did it. That's my guess. I don't obviously know for sure, but to do it...
Didn't Saudi, like a Saudi company or something, buy EA or something recently?
I don't know. I know Tencent, the Chinese company, is who bought Ubisoft, I believe. But I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure EA... we don't do gaming news like to the caliber that all these other YouTubers do.
No.
So I have a pretty simple understanding of this, but I'm pretty sure EA was purchased by a Saudi company.
Interesting.
And so there's like a bunch of controversy behind that because it's like, whoa, like what is Saudi doing getting involved, but it seems that I think you're right. I think that, they are getting more involved into this industry and buying companies like EA, which is a massive step.
Yeah.
And funding DLCs like for Mirage. I think you said, that seems pretty straightforward. This is their backyard.
Yeah.
And so to have a game in their backyard like this, and a modern one,
Yeah.
then yeah, very cool. So, yeah, that's very interesting. I think that's all we'll touch on it here, but
That's all we know about it.
Yeah, it seems like, and there was nothing, by the way, in the DLC that was like travel Saudi Arabia. Like there was no.
It wasn't an
there
ad.
was never Ford advertising.
Right.
It was not an ad. It didn't feel like an ad.
No.
And in fact, until Johnny brought it up, I forgot that Saudi even paid for this
Yeah.
DLC. So that's like, hey, if we get to play a free DLC because some government funded a
I'm
video
in.
game, sweet.
I'm in.
Because the USA would never do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, super cool, enjoyable. But anyways, yeah, high level thoughts here. Short DLC. I did kind of appreciate that they didn't dawdle.
100%.
There was no waste of time here. This was a short story, very straightforward. I will say extremely predictable. The second the main antagonist showed up on screen, he's not revealed as the main antagonist. I clocked it immediately.
I did too.
He's the bad guy.
I did too. I don't know if
you can just tell by his face.
You can tell by his face.
The way that he was introduced. And maybe that's just because Johnny and I know storytelling pretty well at this point, not just in video games, but in a lot of media, where it's like, okay, you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like this is I've seen this before, and it was. You know who the bad guy is. It's the guy who, and especially when Basim introduced himself as Basim, and he's looking for his dad and name drops his dad. I'm like, okay. You are giving this guy that you don't know way too much info, Mr. Assassin.
I loved that scene.
He knew about your creed.
Oh, I want to talk about that scene, though, because that scene, when I think of, like, cutscenes and voice acting, that was the bit, like, when Basim was, like, he was giving himself up and being like, I'm here, where's my dad? Because I think they made it obvious that Nimlot is the guy we're talking about. I think they made it a little bit obvious that he's the bad guy because I think Basim was onto him. I think he knew from the get-go, like, oh, he knows. And that's why Basim came out and he was like, what did Nimlot say? He's like, you found yourself in danger or something. And Basim was like, yeah, I might be the danger a little bit. Like, he was like a little bit intimidating. And the lines I thought were really, really well delivered. I think that little one scene gave more characterization to Basim and personality than like the rest of Mirage. I thought that scene in particular was great.
Well, and I don't think that there's no plot hole level of like obviousness here. There was no obvious sign for Basim that it was like, hello, you're talking to the leader of this bandit organization. Yeah. Because this guy was intimidated by Basim because he was familiar with the assassins, and he was there during one of his first assassinations.
That was
where he
so
cut
cool.
the guy's throat and hung him, which it's later revealed, and we'll kind of get into the rest of that, but why that's significant. But he was there for that assassination, so he's like, holy crap, like, I know about your organization, and I'm a little freaked out right now. And he's like, okay, calm down. I'm not here for anything crazy. I'm actually just looking for my dad. So I think Basim in the story, he lets his guard down, and he's no longer thinking like an assassin on a mission. He's thinking like a son looking for his father. So he's not an assassin first. And so I think that he didn't think that he would have to put up his guard. He thinks he just helped some lady get out of a really bad situation. He met the person that's helping her. Like, wow, it's this widow, right?
Yes.
This guy is helping this widow who just had her property ransacked by bandits. You saved her. You bring her back to this guy's house. And so you think he's just a nice guy, right? So, and you're just a guy looking for your dad. So you've got your hood on, and, you're still in assassin mode kind of, but it's not first and foremost. And so I think he let his guard down, and he comments on that later. He's like, I was naive to be so trusting of someone like this that I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
And so for Basim, I don't think it's a plot hole. I think that they did it just fine. It's just I noticed and you noticed of like, okay, it's him, right?
Yeah.
Because there's not that many characters in a DLC. And so you kind of expect, okay, we're in hour 1. We expect the main antagonist to show up, and he does. So
after that,
what did you think about the first hour, I guess, kind of leading up?
The first hour, I was just kind of like still in that mode of like, whoa, like we're getting new content and stuff and everything like that. That like And I forgot his friend in the beginning of the story. Like, Mirage's main story is fairly forgettable that I forget.
I forgot. I was like, who is this guy? I don't remember.
But they're close friends, and they had some nice scenes and stuff like that. That was cool. They jabbed at each other. He called him fat, all this stuff. I think the writing was better. But I think
that was funny.
I think a lot of this has to do with it's like this is what we were talking about, where this is what Shadows needs to do. This is what the next big game needs to do. Like, props to Bordeaux, because they were able to say, here's this big map. It has actually probably like 10 to 12 hours of content if you want to explore this whole map. We're writing a very purposeful story that's 3 hours long that takes you through probably 20% of the map. So, like,
the highlights,
this is the story we're telling. Go enjoy the map afterward, which is different from how the RPGs go. It's different from Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, and Shadows, where they take you to each land. You go side missions. You're not focused on the main mission. You're more so just exploring this world, and the main missions feel like side content. And that's where I think that they lose the fan base with those giant stories that don't feel focused. Whereas you have this Mirage story, and they're like, this is the story we're telling. Basim's going to go find his dad. He's going to go figure out where he is, and it just so happens to be in this really cool large map that you can go explore on your own afterward. And I think that is essential moving forward in Assassin's Creed, to bring back that focus on the main story. I don't care that it was 3 hours. I loved that it was 3 hours because there was zero filler. So they went from literally, he walks into this new land, he saves the lady, takes her to Nimlot's house, and then he goes to the main, like, Alula city. I forget what it was called. I think it was just Alula. And he
they've pronounced it weird.
And he gets put in prison. And you get this really kind of unique prison mission, which I want to hear your thoughts on, because I was sitting there like, this is different. And it was a little dragged on. Like, I was in prison for like 20 minutes in a cell. But I actually really did like it. So in this prison mission, you have to use all these kind of older Assassin's Creed kind of things. You listen out the window. You go through these different ways of, like, how should I get out of here? You look for clues. You use your eagle vision. It was very old-fashioned, and I really appreciated it. So what did you think of that mission?
Yeah, I think the prison break scene, I love that they slowed down. It wasn't just, oh, you get sent to prison, and yeah, you sleep there for a few nights, and then your bird gets your key and you're out of there.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, thank goodness he's got that bird.
Yeah.
And that the bird speaks English. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I actually like that they dragged it out.
Yeah, felt like you were in prison.
The one thing that it didn't bug me, but I was just, I kept dying at this one spot where you're out of the cage now. You, like, half the guards are asleep. You kill a few stragglers, but then there's, like, a room where there's, like, a dozen guys.
I died there too.
Downstairs.
I died there too.
I kept dying there, and because I don't remember, like, I really don't remember the combat. I haven't played Mirage in, like, since years, probably. It's been a minute.
Right. And
so I'm really rusty, but I kept dying there, and it would throw me all the way back to the cell. And I'm like, gosh dang it. Like, there's no quick save point. And I think, did I manually save? I think maybe I might have. I can't remember, but I had to play it super safe. But, games have that every now and then where there's a tough save spot. But, yeah, I think that they used a lot of the fun tools. The one thing that I wish he would have used that he didn't was his eagle vision. Like, he literally did not rely on that one bit.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't. You did not need to use eagle vision, even though you have it.
Oh.
And, like, the guy who's next door in the cell next to you, I was hoping that he'd be more a part of the story.
Me
almost
too.
Like a side character, and he wasn't. He just died.
Yeah, me too. It was, like, sad, but not that sad because we didn't know him.
Yeah, we didn't know him, but I like kind of wanted him to. And
so did you? Real quick, did you help the lady? Because in the beginning, where that widow's house is being ransacked, there's, like, a servant who you can help. Did you help her?
Yes, I think you. Do you have to?
I know.
Is there a way that you don't?
I think it's optional.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that did make it easier. Like, half the guards were sleeping.
Yes.
Because she puts, like, a sleeping concoction, mandrake, in their soup or whatever, and then half of them fall asleep, and so yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I really liked it a lot. It's like, okay, he's stuck, and he's not a superhuman, and so he's gonna have to use. And he even says at a point, he's like, "There's not much in here I can do.
Yeah.
Like I really need to rely on my senses and
my bird.
and take the time that I need to get information to learn how to get out of here." And so he's totally stuck. No one's gonna come save him. And that type of storytelling is what I love. A little bit of a side tangent here in the Star Wars universe. This is why I love the Andor series so much, because in a cinematic universe, I've totally made this up. This isn't like maybe somebody else has talked about this before, but I totally make this up. And so this is just kind of my understanding of it. It should be like a pyramid where there's 3 levels to the pyramid. At the top is like the most powerful people in this universe. So like in Star Wars, it's the Jedi and the Sith, right? Mid-tier are people like Mandalorians, like Chewbacca, like Han Solo, where they're well-connected, they're well-armed, they're well-trained. Maybe they have a spaceship, they have a lot of money, but they don't have a lightsaber and the Force and all this. The bottom tier is like nobodies, where it's like, no, you're a street rat, and you don't have the Force, you don't have good weapons, you don't know how to fight, and nobody is going to come save you if you're in trouble. That's where Andor shines.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of similar, where it's like assassins are very much like kind of that top tier level all the time. And there's very few times in Assassin's Creed where the character will get knocked down, where it's like, dude, you don't have your arsenal. You have to figure out how to get out of this situation. I think AC3 has a scene like this. I think AC Unity has a scene like this, where it's like you got to start over a little bit. AC2, there's some others, but or I guess Brotherhood a little bit. When after what's that fortune? His house,
Montragione,
house gets blown up. Yeah. So, and I love those scenes where they got to restart and they got to like really rely on their base knowledge.
You like Drunk Arno?
I liked it. I think the prison break was fun. And it was a good amount of time. I liked it.
I liked it too. I want to clear this up. You like Drunk Arno? I hated that so much.
They did it. They did it. The gameplay wasn't fun.
Yeah,
it was mostly cutscenes.
Correct.
Right? It was mostly cutscenes.
Correct. It was mostly cutscenes. No, yeah. And then so Basim then leaves the prison and he gets poisoned by I mean, I played this 2 months ago, so you're going to have to refresh my memory, but it's like the prison guy, like the head of the prison poisons him before he dies, and Basim's like stumbling into the desert and he's hallucinating, and it's again like pretty unique, like pretty cool. Like I'm going to remember that. That's what I liked about the story. I remember the whole thing for the most part. Like I said, I played it 2 months ago and I remember most of the details because it was so focused and so short. But so he stumbles out of the prison like all dizzy. What happens after that? Remind me. I know I just said I remember everything.
Well, so you escape, and like all the guards, not only in the prison but in the town, are on high alert.
Oh yeah.
And so you got to get like the F out of there. So and it like took me a second to realize like, whoa, all these guards are looking for me.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I thought I was good after I got out of the prison. No. And so yeah, you get out. You're kind of hazy, and then you pass out once you leave the city limits. And by a miracle, somebody finds you. I don't know. I don't remember who finds you. I think it was just someone from like that village that you go to in the start of the game. Finds you and brings you to your friend.
Yeah.
And then he heals you up.
Yes. Right.
So I think they cut some corners there. They weren't trying to harp on like the survival aspect of like, shoot, I'm down and out and I got to recover. It's like, no, you're back. Go find your dad again.
Yeah. And he does.
And he does.
And he does.
So,
and this is there's like 3 acts to the story. We said it's like the opening, the prison, and now, correct me if I'm wrong, but like he's off and to the races. He knows where to look now. He's gonna go find him. And you go to this
because somebody in the prison tipped him off at where his like A, his dad is alive, and B, he still lived in the city.
Yes.
And so he's like, yeah, it's the house with the blue door in this one part of town.
Right. You look for his house.
And so he goes there and finds that it's been ransacked recently by this bandit gang. And so he doesn't know why he was targeted, why now of all times, like what happened. And it turns out it's because of like the head honcho, who wasn't the guy who poisoned him. He thought it was the guy who poisoned him. It was somebody else, is the true head honcho. Knows about Basim trying to find his dad. And so he goes and takes his dad.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to find out now, where's my dad? And so he kind of needs to go from there's a few different bandit bases in the desert. And so to get out to the desert, there's a lot of like spots where there's like canyons and desert spots where you will get ambushed, just kind of randomly. And so you have to learn where these bandit hideouts are and get information from people within the hideouts to then find the main base. And the main base is an old Roman fortress.
Oh, yeah, so cool.
That has like 3 rings of like walls. It's like Boston.
And it's huge. It's a really cool base. Really, really well set up.
And there are 3, just like from the outer ring to the middle ring, there are 3 different ways that you can get in. And then, I don't know, I think the middle ring to the inner ring, there's just one way. But that, again, this is where Mirage really shines.
Yes.
And Shadows is, hey, there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. Pick how you want to complete your mission. And so that's how they did it with this final mission to find, you find out who the main bad guy is, you go to find him. And it's revealed that it's, what's his name?
Nimlot.
Nimlock?
Nimlot with a T.
Oh, Nimlot. Yeah. I don't know how you remember that.
Yeah. Memorable. This is what I mean. And this is where like the last 25 minutes of the game, I was like, oh, they killed it. So Nimlot, you learn, was there the day of Basim's first assassination, right? So Basim sees his dad like pretty much like cowering in the back of the room, and Nimlot's like, I have your dad, and you get his like exposition. You get his like Doofenshmirtz moment where you're like,
yes,
here's where like I'm gonna tell you what's going on. And so they do this really cool flashback to Basim's first like assassination, like his first one, and it was the most memorable one in the game, of course, the coolest one.
It was.
Where he wraps the rope around that guy's neck and then he jumps off the balcony. But this time, the flashback is shot from a different angle, and you see the body drop from the balcony, and Basim falls out of frame, and you see Nimlot in the background looking at it, and you learn that this guy he killed was his father. And this is where I thought that was really cool. It was a little like retconned. Obviously, he wasn't there in the beginning of the game. Like, they didn't think of this, whatever. It was really well done. It gives the bad guy real motivation to be like, you killed my dad. I'm going to kill your dad. You people think you can do whatever you want without any consequences. And it brings in that like morally ambiguous like side to Assassin's Creed, which has always been there. Like these heroes are killing people, and that has a lot of repercussions that is often, no, always glazed over in these games. You're always just taking out people. So for once, I was really happy for them to be like, no, you're still like, killing people is still killing people, even if they're bad people, like it's affecting people. So you see that Basim's actions created this monster, created this bad guy who's now going after his father. And I thought that like investigation of the morality behind the assassin was really, really cool. And I loved his motivation and his character. I thought it was really cool.
Well, and here's where I think they took a really good step, because for a minute when that's revealed that it was Nimlot, and he's like, yeah, the person you killed was my dad. And, Nimlot's not a Templar, first and foremost. Like, he's
right.
not an Order of the Ancients. He's not a Templar. They are originally from Alula. And so I think that he had kind of the son had built a name for himself because him and his dad weren't close. And then he went to Baghdad and started to rekindle things with his own dad. And his dad was like kind of proud of him again, because he's like, yeah, dude, I'm a freaking bandit lord back home, and this Templar dad is like sick. I love it. Like bad guys be bad guys, I guess. But and so he's like, right when we were rekindling things is when you killed him. And so his motivation is like, he didn't know Basim until Basim revealed that was him. Like there wasn't this big arching like, I've had my eye on you this whole time. It's like, no, you just showed up on my freaking doorstep and introduced yourself and told the story about how you killed my dad, which, of course, I remember I was there. And now I've got it out for you. And so, like, you kind of landed on my plate here. It wasn't this overarching, like, oh, yes, I've been concocting this plan this whole time. It's like, no, you just showed up and I hate you.
I kind of didn't even
And I want you to suffer like I've suffered. So I've captured your old man back here, and I'm not a threat to you. You're going to kill me anyways. But I'm going to go freaking kill your dad before you can, like, he's just feet away from him. He's just, like, Basim is just standing 10 feet away. He's like, I'm going to run over there and kill your dad before you can run over here and kill me. And yeah, you'll kill me, but I'll kill your dad first so then you can feel my pain. And it's like, dang, okay, that's some crazy sick motivation. I love that. But when he's telling the story about, him, you killed my dad and all this stuff, Bassam does not go back. He does not. He's not like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't realize the repercussion. None of that. Bassam literally doubles down. He's like, yeah, it was a righteous kill, and your father was a terrible man, and I'm glad that I killed him. It's like, dang, bro. And he's like, I'm gonna make you bleed just like I made your dad bleed. And it's like, woo! Like, that's the life of an assassin right there. Like, I am so happy that he didn't, like, there wasn't any, like, mushy, like, I'm sorry, oh, no. What, can I change your mind? Don't kill my dad, please.
Well,
it's like, no, F you, I'm going to kill you. And so this tussle happens, and Nimlot tries to go back and kill his dad, and Bassam just locks in, and, like, freaking Spartan kicks him into the wall, stabs him. Like, it's crazy. There's like a little bit of a tussle, a little bit, but Bassam definitely is the more experienced one. He killed him, and yeah, Dad did not die.
Well,
it was. But yeah, I loved that scene.
It was a great scene, and the way you were talking about it, it's like it is the life of an assassin, and like that, like no regrets thing. But even more so, that's characterization of Bassam. That's like, you have to remember where he's at in the part of his story where like Loki's almost taking over. This is toward the end of Mirage. This is like right before the end, I believe. And so, like, this is not. I can kind of see like, maybe not Connor, but like Edward having some sort of like, I'm sorry about your dad, or like Shay or Arno or Jacob, or some of the protagonists who are a little more like lighthearted and friendly, and like, this is Bassam, righteous kill, I'll do it again, I'm gonna kill you. Like, this is we're about like probably a year away from him becoming a full-blown villain. So I think this is even better when you bring in that context of who this assassin is. Not just an assassin. This is the assassin who's about to turn completely away from any sort of creed or anything like that. So I even this is why I like this story. It's really, really cool. So and then you get to the part where you see the dad. And this again is like last 10 minutes you're with his dad. This is the last 10 minutes of the whole story.
Cutscenes.
But
well, for the most part, there's some walking.
There's walking,
mostly cutscenes.
But it's beautiful because you realize, maybe I misread this or whatever, but Bassam's dad has like some memory thing going on. He's really old. He's like got the big white beard. He doesn't know who Bassam is, and you see Bassam just kind of sit with that, and he doesn't try to tell him who he is or anything like that. He's just happy to be there with his dad, happy that he saved his dad. And they go on this walk, which was like beautiful. And it was really, this is where I was like, oh, this is some of the best writing they've done in forever. The relationship between Bassam and his dad was amazing. When they're sitting by the fire and you see, like, Bassam's always having big moments by the fire. He did it in Valhalla too. But you see where like he has this softness for his dad, and he's not, like I said, he's not like, oh, I'm your son, I came to save you. It's none of that. He's just listening to what his dad has to say. And then, remind me how it ended. They kind of like walked off into the sunset and his dad kind of died or something. Like he Master Oogway'd it. And like, what happened?
So yeah, what happens in the end is, you're right. Like, his dad does not recognize him. And you don't know why at first. And Bassam's like, oh, because he calls him father. And he's like, I don't know where your father is.
Right,
buddy,
right.
But I don't want to be in this tower anymore, so let's get out of here. So they leave, and yeah, they're like camping outside of this, just in the desert. They're camping, and because Bassam's like, I'll escort you. I'll make sure you get home safe. And so at the campfire, he's saying like, my understanding was like, I'm from here, but I need to make my journey to another place because I don't know where that place is. I don't know like if he was going home and he's not originally from here, or what the situation was, but he was kind of essentially going home. Like he was leaving where he has been, and he's needing to make like a journey home for the end of his days, and he's not going to come back. And so he wanted to go to the tombs. Like there's these sacred tombs.
Oh yeah.
Where I don't think it was necessarily their family, but they're just like these sacred, respected tombs in this area where he's been for years and years of his life. he wanted to go and kind of pay his respects. This is the dad.
Yeah.
And kind of say goodbye to this part of his life and then move on. And so during this conversation, Bassem's asking him questions like, hey, do you remember your wife's name? And he's like, no, I don't. It was a long time ago because she died. But this is keying into, you don't just forget your wife's name.
Yeah.
Like that, he's forgetting. And he says, do you remember your son? He said, yes, his name was Bassem, and he was a good boy.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually getting a little emotional right now because I'm a dad.
Yeah.
I've got 3 kids. And so he remembers them as being little. Bassem as being little. And it wasn't clear why he had left. He just was saying like he wasn't worthy and he wasn't in a place in his life that he could take care of Bassem, but his buddy, this merchant buddy who you traveled with to Alula, he essentially gave you to him. And so the dad still thinks that Bassem is a boy. Like the dad doesn't understand that it's been like 25 years and that Bassem is not only standing right in front of him, but he's an adult now.
Right.
And so there's a part of the story where he says, you know, it's at the end. He doesn't reveal that he's Bassem, but so they're kind of strangers. And so the dad tells Bassem, he's like, hey, when you see Bassem, you know, tell him that he's a good boy and that he's going to grow up to be a good man. And, you know, that he doesn't need me in his life, but I'm proud of him. And so like, that was like, whoa.
That's what I mean.
Like Bassem understands like this is my dad and he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Like, he still thinks Bassem is a boy. He still thinks he's 5.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was just like this closure for Bassem, but he didn't feel like he needed to tell because his dad borderline got dementia. And so, but his dad was at peace. You know, he knows that Bassem is out there doing amazing things and he's going to be an amazing man. And so he just kind of lets his dad go his separate way to go on this journey to go back home. And so when he goes back to the home base to talk to the merchant friend, he's like, hey, did you find your dad? And he said, yes, I found a shadow of what my dad used to be, but I was able to say goodbye to the past and close that chapter of my life. So now I can look forward with complete faith and complete
Focus.
Devotion to the future and become what I need to become. And so he's like, door shut, now I can lock in and move forward. So really interesting. I loved the plot twist with like the dementia. So not what I was expecting.
Nope. Not at all.
And I think with him, you know, at first I was upset because I was like, why are you not telling him? Like, if I was in the dad's shoes, I would want to know that my son is an adult who's healthy and strong and awesome and happy or whatever he is in life, and he's right here, and I haven't seen him. But, you know, with him having dementia, my grandpa's got dementia.
Yep.
And so it's like, you kind of let him live in their bubble. And if he's got peace in that bubble and he thinks that his son is still a boy and is going to, you know, grow up into a man and be successful, then let him live in that bubble, you know. And as long as he's got his closure and you've got yours, then that's why he was there, to make sure that he was okay. So
Yeah. Well, thanks for the jog in the memory on the real details, because that's what I mean when I say, like, forget the rest of it. That scene alone, that last 20 minutes, even the part with Nimlot to a degree, like that whole last sequence, I thought was like, wait a minute, what did we just do? Like, what? This is what we've been begging for 10 years. You get it with Bayek. You get it with whoever breathed the air that day will not sleep and I will kill you all. And that's the same kind of emotion we've been, like, starving for. We didn't really get it in Syndicate. A little bit better in Unity, had some nice emotional moments, but nothing, in my opinion. I think that's like one of my favorite scenes in all of Assassin's Creed. This was the reason, by the way, everybody listening, this DLC was, I'm not the only one saying this. I know people call me a glazer and all this other stuff. This Valiant Memory DLC was extremely well received, and that's not random. That's not random, where you have this like really cool moments and real characterization and real personality and a great writing and voice acting, and you get these awesome emotional moments that we've been really missing. I mean, they are sprinkled in throughout the games. Like that campfire scene in Valhalla, I always think of, because that's a beautiful scene where Basim talks about his old life a little bit, and Eivor is trying to understand who this guy is, who you don't know this whole game. And those moments that was a 4-minute scene in an 80-hour game. Whereas like when the last 20 minutes of this 3-hour DLC, when that's that moment, like that hits a lot harder and it's really memorable. And I think that Ubisoft Bordeaux, who is the team that worked on Mirage, they need a huge hand. So for those of you who don't know, Bordeaux was brought on, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, they were like a secondary team. They were like, clean up these textures, like finish this, like do this. They were brought on usually like to finish games. And that's why they were like, all right, take the Valhalla DLC. It's a smaller DLC, you guys do it. And then it turned into a full-blown game, and they were like, all right, Bordeaux, you guys make this game. And Mirage came out, the base game got really mixed reviews. I was a big fan of it, but I think it succeeded in bringing the game back to like its roots, and that was cute in that way. But then you have like, in my opinion, like the Valley of Memory is now like way more important than anything that happened in Mirage's story. I think it tells a lot about Basim's character, and I think this is a huge, huge like win. But I do want to talk about really quick how it kind of is super juxtaposed to the Claws of Awaji.
Yeah, I have not. So
Right,
I have not
right.
played Claws of Awaji.
I
How
know
do
that.
you compare the two? And by the way, this DLC in Mirage was not well received because it was free.
Correct.
It was well received because it was well made.
I agree.
And Claws of Awaji, I've only heard a few things, one of them being from you.
Mm.
So but I heard it was kind of like, eh.
Well,
So how do you compare these two?
it's if like you're looking for anything outside of what Shadows already was. It is just more Shadows. It could have been in the game and nobody would have noticed. It doesn't feel like a DLC out of a new map. So you're getting like a similar amount of like, you're going to find the mother. You find the mother pretty quickly, and then it's like, the mom's like, we have to kill the big bads in Awaji. Cool. Kill 25 people, and then you can kill the big bad guy. Okay, so you go do it. And in my opinion, Claws of Awaji has the best boss fights in Assassin's Creed. That was clearly their emphasis. They have 3 banger boss fights. Difficult, like unique. So they have 3. The one is like investigation. So you go around this huge camp asking people, you're all disguised up as Naue. You're in this like trying to fit in and nobody knows it's her. And you have to figure out who's the real one to talk to and to assassinate. The next one is a full-blown stealth boss fight, which is really cool. You have this girl who poisons you in a swamp, basically, and she like clones herself. And so you have to find which one is making noise. You have to listen, and then you have to sneak up on her, and you kill her by like assassinating her like 5 times or something. You have to sneak up on her 5 times. Really cool. And then the last one is a full-blown combat, like really, really hard fight. It's the hardest fight in Assassin's Creed for sure. So
Wow.
That was cool. I was a fan of the boss fights, but story-wise, I was pretty let down. Her mom's kind of a grump, which I guess shouldn't be surprising. Like mother, like daughter. But like you find her pretty quickly. The mom's kind of useless. You don't even get her outfit, which I'm disappointed by. At least I don't think you do, because it's a cool outfit. But it's like the polar opposite of what Valley of Memory was. And I say this as somebody who loves Shadows, who prefers playing Shadows to playing Mirage. But when it comes to story, you have this literally like 12-hour DLC, which could have been told in an hour, versus this 3-hour DLC that was nothing but that 3-hour story. And it was beautiful. So they're completely different. And I don't think it's random that one was received poorly and one was received really positively. And like you said, I don't think it's a price thing. So that's all I'll say. Not to hate on Claws of Awaji, because I did enjoy it. It's just more Shadows. I love Shadows. So, but it doesn't have that emotional like hit to it.
Well, and that's the thing. And Assassin's Creed is so similar nowadays to like Marvel, where it's like everything is hit and miss. You cannot Like, I will never go to a premiere screening of a Marvel movie again. Like, maybe for the new Avengers movie coming out, but
Right.
it is so hit and miss. Like, I gotta wait a week to see what people say, and it's like, all right, now I'll go spend money on it. Because, like, Thor Love and Thunder, I thought was gonna be a banger, and it
Huge
wasn't.
letdown. Oh my God.
You know?
What a they dropped the ball so hard.
Yeah. So, it's kind of similar to that, where it's like you've just got multiple teams working on different games at different times, and they all have different priorities. And so for Shadows, it was very much a DLC of an RPG combat-heavy game. That doesn't, it's got a story, but that's really just to move the gameplay along. And it's content for the sake of content, whereas Mirage is like, no, we want to tell this effing story. Yeah, I mean, they're getting paid by Saudi to make this DLC, but they could have done what Shadows did
100%.
and just make like this slop fest of...
Hey.
I know you hate the word slop. Yeah, I saw your video. But there are a lot of games out there, not just Assassin's Creed, that it's just like you get bored of the game because the game is focusing on the gameplay. And it's like the best games don't focus on the gameplay,
True.
in my opinion.
I agree.
When it comes to RPGs.
I agree.
I will say that. When it comes to RPGs. So, like, The Witcher. Frankly, The Witcher at its core has a pretty simple gameplay system. And in fact, the combat is often...
I've heard it's bad.
Talked about as being kind of simple.
Yeah.
And, like, it's a very simple mechanic. And, yeah, it does get in-depth and difficult with the potions and the oils that you can put in your sword and stuff like that. Which I don't play on that difficulty setting that I need to use those. But I know I'm drawing a lot of parallels to The Witcher, but it's because they made 2 DLCs that were fire.
Right.
Oh my gosh, the DLCs in that were like movies, and they were so different, not only from each other but from the base game. So different. And how do you make a game that is exactly the same and it plays the same and you're playing the same guy feel so freaking different 2 more times? And it is the story, and it is how you tell the story. Like, okay, we're trying to find a parent. How are we doing that? The RPG of Shadows is saying, okay, well, let's do exactly what we did in the base game, and again, I haven't played it, but this is just based off of what you said, where we have to go and find all these targets, make a ton of assassinations that all kind of lead up the ladder to find your mom. That's exactly what the base game did.
Yep.
Whereas now looking at Mirage, Valley of Memory, what are we doing? No boss fights. There are 0 boss fights in that game. And I did not have a single complaint about
Nope.
that. Granted, Mirage is not about boss fights at all. And so they probably wouldn't have done that anyways. But the story beats are you're going to a grave to try to find, a graveyard to try to find your dad's grave. He's not there. You get sidetracked by this widow. You go to her like estate, and you have to help out like the workers that are there, and you have to like get rid of the bandits that are there, and then kind of, bigger picture here. Oh yeah, there's this crazy bandit problem in this town. Why should you care? You're only there for your dad. Why should you get involved? And it ties you into that, and it tells that story of, okay, like, hey, you're deciding to go after this group of bandits on top of also going after your father. And then you get put in prison, and there's this whole prison scene. No boss fights, no combat happening, not even stealth is happening here. Like, they were just like, yeah, let's do a prison break scene. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And now let's go like from base to base, where it's like, if you want to do combat, great. If you want to do stealth, great. Like, however you want to get the information that you need, go get it. And then the final boss fight is not a boss fight. It's like a giant fortress that you need to infiltrate however you want to do that. And then find the boss, and the boss is not a fight. It's essentially a cinematic, and it tells this beautiful story. That is so different.
So different.
Because and that's not necessarily how the base game is all the time. But that they're using different gameplay mechanics that are found in other games that haven't been in this game yet to tell this new story. That it's not just solely relying on the gameplay itself. And so I don't know if I'm making sense here, but
No, it does.
They're just doing something different to tell a different story. They're not just using the same recipe over and over again.
Yes. I think this is a huge win for, like, it just gives me so much hope. It was hard because they came out literally 2 months apart, and they are literally about the same thing, about the main character finding a parent. Like, it was so, like, close to one another that you couldn't help but compare them. And when you do, it's like, it's what hits today, man. It's when you go and you look at what's big right now. Not big right now, it's what's memorable about video games. You think of Red Dead, you think of AC2, you think of God of War 4, you think of The Witcher, you think of these I've talked about this so many times on this podcast, but you think of character-driven stories where you see emotion and you see what means something to them and why they're doing things like that. That's why I like Nimwat, because he had such a clear motivation that was like really well tied into the main story. You can understand where he's coming from. That's the thing, he doesn't look like a monster. You understand, this guy killed my dad, I want to get back, and it brings a level of emotion that is missing from a lot of games these days that don't kind of prioritize that. But it's just nice to know Ubisoft can do it. After Claws of Awaji, they're like, all right, try this one. And it was like the same premise, but it was completely backwards and opposite, and it worked out beautifully, in my opinion. Definitely, I mean, better than Claws of Awaji. It's just a better DLC. It's focused.
Is over there, because, I mean, obviously they've got multiple creative directors for these different teams that they've got making these games, and I mean, it's just so apparent which ones know what they're doing and which ones, like for Bordeaux to make not just this DLC, but to make Mirage that was so tied in to Valhalla indirectly,
gameplay wise as well.
They weren't making like direct ties where it's like call out, but where the game is like, well, you kind of need to have played Valhalla and paid really good attention to know what the hell is happening at the end of the game. Yeah. And like, whoa, you know what? This chick is turning into, and they never name dropped Loki. Never. So you have to know based on the last game what's going on. Yeah. And it's like, but I love that because now, and that's why I was so excited. And I am heartbroken that Shadows has not given us an ounce of modern day that is telling us what is happening with Loki, because they've built such a cool narrative with is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? What's his true motivation here? Because now not only do we know his true colors, or at least like who he really is based off of Valhalla, but now we know kind of who his original who Basim is within Loki, because they do exist within each other, and we know that they coexist. We saw that with Eivor and with Odin. They coexist, and Eivor was able to come out on top and push Odin down, but Odin never left. Right. He never left. To the day he died, he was always there, and he talked to him as if he was like a ghost standing next to him, right? Yeah. And they kind of learned to get along, even though Odin was never given control of Eivor's body. Tell that story. Yeah. Give me some modern day gameplay with Basim or something, or just like cutscenes of like that dynamic where maybe Loki's cooking up to be this big bad guy, but Basim is within him and causing this turmoil and making it so maybe Loki can't be successful because of this inner Basim that they have to get through to communicate to. There's just so many story beats that they could tell with this, and they freaking haven't. They haven't at all, and it makes me so mad. I know you're not. I know you don't play Shadows like since release, really. But so what they are doing is they're releasing these updates where, they're I forget what they're called. They're animus glitches. They're rifts. You enter the animus, and you're like, freaking hate that crap. You're walking around as like the animus figure, like it's like just the outline of a dude pixelated and stuff, and you go and something's happening in the animus. Somebody's talking to you, and it's like, run quick, this is happening, all this. It's like a classic animus rift part, but they've done a couple of them now, and I also found it's pretty hard to find in Shadows, but you have this whole log of events that's happening in modern day, and it would take an hour to read through them all, but this is what I mean. Just tell us, show us, give me a cutscene. What's happening out there? And so this is the other thing we should cover quickly before we wrap up here. It's pretty much confirmed at this point, to my understanding, that Assassin's Creed Shadows will be supported continuously. However, there will be no story DLC 2.
There's no further story expansions. That was Assassin's Creed Shadows. Shadows, Claws of Awaji, put a bow on it. That's your lore that was added to Assassin's Creed Shadows. I can't say I'm not disappointed. I think a lot of it does come from the backlash, probably from things like Attack on Titan DLCs, probably from the microtransactions. The Shadows right now, it's funny because Assassin's Creed Shadows on launch was extremely positively received. It was getting 7s, 8s, 8.5s across the board. Steam reviews were in the very positive on launch. Everything was looking great. And you have to understand, this is despite people review bombing it, right? There's going to be people who say, I hate Ubisoft. And it was still getting good reviews. So on launch, it was an extremely successful launch. And now that people like you who enjoyed it, who finished the game, beat it, and moved on, now that you guys are done playing it, it's not on your mind, nobody's talking about it. The people who just constantly, the swarm of people who hate Ubisoft games and all this other stuff, they've come in and now Shadows somehow has like this bad reputation, even though it was extremely well received when people were playing it. So I think it's odd, and I think it is contributing to the lack of support that Shadows will be getting down the line, and that's a shame. It's a shame because it's a beautiful game, super fun to play. So I'm upset.
Had so much potential. So if that is true, so you're saying it's not technically confirmed, but it might as well be.
I'm at like a 95%.
I really hope that's not true for multiple reasons. One, they sold a freaking season pass, which is ridiculous. If they just have one DLC.
I don't think they did.
Did they not? I thought they did.
No, they took it back. This was one of their delays. They said, hey, you know what? It's all free. You pay for the Claws of Awaji expansion. And if you pre-order it, you get it for free. But no, there was no sold season pass, and I think that's why they can get out of it.
Yeah. So, but the other thing is, there are not only, there's just so many story beats for them to go on. Like, they did not finish Yasuke's story at all.
Nope.
And I do not care enough about Naoe's story with her friggin' mom and the stupid box with the freaking Japanese artifacts.
That's in there.
Dude, I that is not the highlight. Like, dude, Yasuke and him like declaring war on the Templar, like he was like the core. Like, yes, Naoe's mom was like the assassin, and that's what kind of caused Naoe to build this team of like these more modern assassins. They the what do they call it? The Iki
Kakushiba Iki.
Yeah, whatever.
Thank you.
Again, off-brand assassins, which pisses me off, but still, Yasuke is to his core, finding out what this means to him because he had this influence with this other assassin who he killed.
Yeah.
And he's finding out that the Templars are kind of like have been in the background of his life the whole time. And the last like final scene we get with Yasuke is killing that like head honcho Templar, which was the dopest execution scene in the whole freaking game. And like freaking kicking him out the window and then going down to finish him off, like so sick. And the guy literally says, "Hey, like you're gonna kill me, but more will come, and they're gonna take Japan, and there's nothing you can do about it." And he's like, "Let them come. Like I will give them hell."
So sick.
And it's like, dude, let me see that. Yeah. Let me see that conflict. Let me see these Templars coming for round 2, baby. And now we're building more assassins within Japan, just like Ezio did in Italy and all of Europe. Like, let's build, this Pacific island or like these Asian, assassins in Japan to fight against the Templars coming in from foreign nations. Like, dude, there are so many awesome stories you can tell with that beat, and they just let it go. And so I really hope that, there's so much. We're just suckers, dude. We're a bunch of simps for Assassin's Creed. All we can do is hope, because that was their strongest story point, in my opinion, with that whole game and with the modern day. Like when you start a new game in Assassin's Creed Shadows, the first thing that they show you is the Animus glitching and showing this dark Animus stuff, and it's like telling you a story. And it's like they're lying to you. Don't listen to them. They're lying. It's like, hey, that was dope.
What happened?
Where is this going? And it doesn't. It doesn't go anywhere, not really. And the stupid Animus Rift stuff, like, I don't want to have to do that.
I don't blame you.
But then you've got games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where I think they did a wonderful job with the DLCs. They had a vast variety of DLCs that some of them are more grounded to the roots, just like the main game, where it's like, yeah, you go to Ireland and you do some stuff in Ireland and you help the people there, the kingdoms there, and you know, it's a more local story. I love that. Same with France. And they're not for assassins. It's not for the sake of assassins. It's just like for the sake of Eivor and helping out this kingdom.
Yep.
And there's like a story within Ireland and France. Like I freaking love that. And then you've got the over the top Norse mythology. Freaking what's that one called? I know you love
Dawn
it.
of Ragnarok. Wow.
Dawn of Ragnarok,
So good.
right? Where it's just over the top fantasy, whatever. And it's like, yeah, they had both player fan bases, and so yeah, make DLCs for both. Go for it. I'm not going to play Dawn of Ragnarok, but I am going to play the other two, and I did, and I enjoyed them. And they also had new maps, and I freaking loved that.
Yeah, the maps
and
were so good.
Yeah, they've got so much potential for that, and if they're really giving it up after all that they've done for Shadows, part of me wonders if they're doing that because of the new management. And they're like, we're not going to keep updating your current stuff. You made your money. It was profitable. So we're just going to let it go, and we're going to take things in a new direction. Like, let's stop spending money on old stuff.
Well, I have to pause you there because they did say, from what I understand, Shadows will continue to get free updates and free gear, and potentially a bow for Naue has been leaked, and like all this others, like
Stupid.
there's been, I mean, so every update outside of Claws of Awaji so far has been free. There's been 2 collaborations, there's been multiple free missions, there's been a whole Isu Temple mission added, which is really hard and really cool, and there's a cool secret in it. I don't know if you've heard about this, but it's cool. Anyway, there has been so much free support for Shadows. They're just saying no more paid story, like new map support. So Shadows will continue to get support for, I think, another year, but smaller stuff.
Yeah. And I can't. I don't know. Maybe they'll continue Yasuke's story and free stuff. I hope so.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, it's just we're just hoping, and honestly, at this rate, I'm just looking forward for the freaking Black Flag remake. I think that has a lot of potential. I think that based off of what I've heard and seen, it seems like it's going in the direction that I want it to go in, which is essentially the new games with the old story and the old setting, and it's just really enriching what I guess didn't exist before. Like, you know, you got the whole Caribbean, making it an RPG element type game. 1000% makes sense with Black Flag.
It's going to hit.
So
it's going to hit.
I'm excited for that.
So where is it? Where is it?
What do you mean? Like, why haven't they announced it? I know.
Everybody knows it exists.
I watched the whole Game Awards because of you, and then they didn't show anything.
I was so sure. We're so positive this thing. I think this is my frustration. It just boils down to like the lack of communication is crippling. Tell us. We know it exists. Everybody knows Black Flag exists. The title was leaked. It was rated. It has an M rating. The game is so real and so out there. And Ubisoft's like, what? Why? We don't know anything. Like,
dude. And Ubisoft does not have the balls to shadow drop it.
They
don't. And it would be so successful if they did. I'm all about
it.
shadow dropping, dude. They will, like, game companies need to realize that what Bethesda did with the Oblivion remake, they need to start doing that crap. Like, not for new games, but for remakes like this, just effing shadow drop it, and it's going to get phenomenal. Because, like, for that excitement, I was in my office screaming during that live stream. My wife was like, what is going on down there? I was watching the Bethesda live stream, and they're like, and it launches in 1 hour. I'm like, what? Like, I didn't think that they had the balls to do it, and they freaking did. And I was like, I don't care about how I've never played Oblivion, or I did a little bit. I didn't care for it, but I don't care. This is so sick. I love what they've done. I'm just gonna get it. And it was $50. It's like, dude, if they did that with freaking Black Flag, like, oh, by the way, here it is. Here's all the cool stuff. We'll do a little video telling you about all the updates we did and how it's so awesome now. And it comes out in an hour. Like, everybody everybody would lose their minds and go buy it.
You don't need
Like,
marketing.
no matter what's the last game they
You
played.
don't need a CG trailer for Black Flag. You don't need a marketing cycle. You don't need that. That's why you hit the nail on the head. For remakes,
You can save so much money.
bink, go. Here's your game. It's $40. Have fun. And it's like, people would eat that up. I think shadow dropping would have some really good goodwill to it. It would really help Ubisoft's like outlook here. I think if they dropped it for it, I will say right now, if Black Flag's $70, I'm going to be pissed off. It needs to be 50 max, which I think they probably will do. Looking at what they do with Mirage and things like that, I don't think this needs to be a 100-hour game. I'm looking for a 20-hour retelling of Edward's story in which I can actually go on any island I want. I can climb any mountain I want. We have actual, like, maybe some different weapon choices, some slightly better combat. All I really want is Black Flag with like Valhalla graphics. That's all I want. I think it's gonna be sick.
Well, and I think they're going more than that. I think that they're adding a ton. Like, they have to do a bunch of, if they're going full RPG, they have to do a bunch of side missions that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
And so like it's not gonna be a remaster. It's a remake. And so like everything is from the ground up.
Hell yeah.
I don't know how much they're gonna add to the main story. I kind of hope they don't.
I hope they don't touch it.
Like,
it's a great story.
Just leave it. Yeah, people love it. But
exactly.
give me some side missions. Give me some more, after he's an assassin.
Yeah.
Give me some missions from the Brotherhood, that's your complaint is like, he's not an assassin, like you see him at the end, he's like an assassin at the dead end, I guess, and then he off screen becomes the master of the Brotherhood, the mentor in England, and then gets, and then dies years later and has his mansion. Like, we don't see any of that crap. And so, like, how sick would it be if they had the remake and then maybe they had a DLC in England? Like, there's just so much potential.
Free money.
There is so
Listen
much
up,
potential.
Ubisoft. Free money. That would be sick.
Free money,
Free
bro.
money.
Free
Yeah.
money.
There's. I think it's coming 2026, and all I want even more than Black Flag remake, I want a full CG trailer of Assassin's Creed Hex before I lose my mind. I need to see that game. We were told about it coming on 4 years ago.
So here's the thing, though. When is Ubisoft Connect? Or isn't it called Ubisoft Connect or whatever it is? They have their own event, which is probably why they didn't do anything in the Game Awards show. But they have their own Ubisoft event, usually around March or April every year.
Well, I don't even care if Black Flag remake, I'm going to have so much fun with it. If it didn't exist, I just need a CG trailer saying end of 2026, early 2027, Assassin's Creed Hex. Yay, I need it, man. Shadows has been great.
Dude.
Shadows, the whole...
It's way out. I feel like it's way out.
Do you think it's past 20? You think it's... You don't think it's this year, then?
No, 0. I think there's 0% chances this year. I think we will be lucky if it's next year.
Oh, no, it has to be next year. You can't have a 6-year. Well, no. Okay, you're Mr. Elder Scrolls over there. This is not normal over here. We can't have 8 years from announcement to actual game. I can't have that. I'm going to lose it. No, all I want, even fine. It doesn't come out in 26. I need them to say a trailer, an update. We're working on it. There's been nothing for 3.5 years. That's unbelievable and unheard of from Assassin's Creed, and it bugs me to hell. I know you're used to it, but I'm not.
Yeah. And it's like, they announced it 6 years ago, but they've had 2 games come out since then. So it's not like it's been the focal point.
True.
And now that Shadow's out, because they've said nothing up, we're almost a year. We're definitely a year past the original release date, which was October of
24.
24.
Yeah.
So we're a year past that, and we're almost a year on the actual release date of Shadows.
March.
And so in this event, we've got to get something in this event. This coming event, I'm sure they'll have some kind of Ubisoft Forward, I think is what they call it.
They still do that?
Yeah, they did it. I believe they did it last year, or at least 2 years ago, and they've done that for years. And so they've released a lot of gameplay with their new games and stuff coming out. But yeah, Hex has to be in that. Yeah. If it's not, we're absolutely cooked. Ubisoft is
if it's not, it doesn't exist. I'm gonna go out and say it because It's been a minute, and so Shadow's trailer dropped May, and it dropped saying Shadow's coming out November 16th. I remember this so clearly because it was going to be on my birthday. It was going to be great. So I remember it was a May trailer for a November release. That is a 6-month window. I think
that's perfect.
It is perfect. I think if we get a trailer anytime soon, I will take early 27. If I'm waiting until 28, I'm gonna blow my brains out, bro. I won't.
Yeah, they'll say early 27, and then that gives them wiggle room to push because it's like, oh yeah, it's actually gonna be fall of 27,
Fine.
and like that is so typical nowadays where they say early 2026, and they're like, actually, we're polishing it, and everyone gives the same response of like, well, I just want them to make a good finished game and make it polished and blah blah. It's like, dude, F that. I am so over that excuse nowadays. We're over the cyberpunk days. We're over these early launches where it's like, no. Just learn how to set real expectations. With your team and your audience, where it's like, yes, it's going to be done at this time, and like, I guess if it's vague, that's one thing. If you get a vague like early 2027 and then you push from there, okay, it was vague in the beginning. But if you say like October 11th, 2024, and then it does, and like what, it was like a month before launch. It was like super.
Oh, Shadows?
Last minute that they were like,
yeah. It was close. It was really close.
But then take the opposite, Mirage. I think Mirage might have been delayed once.
Props to Bordeaux, man. It went gold early.
Went gold.
Props to Bordeaux.
Yeah, so it came out like a month early. It's like, dude, that alone is like such great marketing to be like, yeah, hey, we're done.
That dev team, man, they give them a full game. Give them a full game. I'm there for it.
We've got devs sitting in their offices doing nothing.
Yeah, dude.
We're gonna release this.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Well, Bubba. Oh, I wanna say before we go, guys, if you're listening on YouTube, which you probably are, this episode's on Spotify. We have a whole new logo. We got it all going. Season 2 of Beneath the Hood starts now. So, with that, Bubba and I have made a commitment. No matter what we have going on, we're going to do our absolute best and try our hardest every 2 weeks all year. We're going to try it. We'll see what we're busy people, as you guys know, and this podcast has not been a priority over life, this last few months, but we're making a commitment. We're going to do it. I say next week we go and re-rank some stuff. We'll talk. I want to argue. We're going to have some fun.
Yeah, we'll have fun. We'll have fun conversations. And honestly, with this podcast as well, yes, it's focused on Assassin's Creed, but as you saw in the beginning of this podcast, we are just both mega nerds.
Yep.
We like to talk about other stuff, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watching are into a lot of other nerdy stuff as well. So we'll talk about other stuff as well outside of Assassin's Creed. I think occasionally we'll do a fun episode about something random, or just bring it up in mid episode like we do. But yeah, we want to keep doing this, and it is not. Both Johnny and I are kind of on the same page. It's like it's not for the views. It's not for necessarily growing any channels. No. Like, it's just because we love it. Like, I'm borderline dead on TikTok now. Like,
yeah, man.
I got a bunch of followers early on, and I was like, cool, this is awesome. But I just wanted the community, and that's what you guys are. If you're here listening right now, over an hour into this podcast, you are that community. And, like, we love talking to nerds and, talking about this nerdy stuff. Like, we just love it so much. The passion that if you're out, at school or at college or at work, like, most people you run into every day aren't going to be as into this as you are. And so you got to go online, and that's where the community is. And so that's why we do this stuff. We love to get nerdy with it and talk about it, and we love to play these games, and so that that's why we do it. We have fun. It's a ton of fun. I love Johnny, and
love you too,
so
buddy.
We'll keep doing this. We've got no other motives. We just like doing it.
We just like doing it.
Hopefully you guys like listening, and we appreciate you guys for being here.
We sure do. We love you guys. It's all for you guys. So we will see you in 2 weeks. Be there or be square. Bubba, thanks for everything. Guys, thank you, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Take care.